Hello, and welcome to CreepTales. I am back with another story. When I woke up, it was dark and cold. Still groggy from the nap, I looked around me, mildly disoriented. The lights of cars passing on the road lit up the room. I had fallen asleep in the office. I tried checking my phone, but it was out of juice. I tried to switch on my desktop, but there was no power. I got up from the chair, with an aching back, and hit the light switches behind me. Nothing. I started feeling angry. How come no one had noticed? I mean, sure, my seat was all the way in the back, but I wasn't transparent. Someone could have woken me up. But then, the anger gave way to fear. It was Friday night, and it was a long weekend. The office won't open until the next week. And judging by the 360 blackout, I'd say they had dropped the breaker. Picking up my bag, I walked to the automatic glass door. Of course, it didn't open. I stood there, a scream building up in the back of my throat. I started feeling hot, blood rising up to my ears. Not only was I forgotten, but I was freaking locked inside. Another car passed, lighting up the room, and I saw my panic-stricken face on the glass. This could be bad, real bad. I dashed to the back door, which all employees used. I clutched the handle and pulled it, but it was locked too. I ran back to the glass doors and dug between them with my nails, making a small opening. I shouted many times, but never got back an answer. Trying to contain my panic, I walked up to the president's desk, feeling my way through the darkness, and opened his drawer. Next, I checked the vice president's drawer. I was hoping to find a torch, but I couldn't tell what I was touching in the dark. I went back to the glass door. My eyes were turning damp, and my nose started itching. As all hope froze, I sat down onto the carpeted floor. All kinds of worries started creeping in. I might not get out. Not tonight at least. I was hungry, and worse, there wasn't even a toilet on the damn floor. After a while, the room temperature suddenly dropped. It kept growing colder by the second. I even saw my breath fogging up. Then, I heard a clang. It was the sound of the back door unlocking. I sprung up to my feet, and ran towards it. The door was open, and a man was standing outside. A white light blinded me, and I squinted. He was holding a torch. I could barely see his face, but I read his badge. It said Joe. Before I could explain my situation, he started walking down the stairs. As I followed him, the temperature dropped even lower. I could almost hear my bones rattling. He unlocked the back door, on the ground floor, and signaled me to step out. My heart felt relief like never before. I turned back to thank him, but the door was closed. There was a little guard room at the entrance of the office premise. I walked up to it and peeked inside. The lights were on, but it was empty. There was a clock inside. It was past 12 o'clock. Of all days, I didn't have my cycle with me. But I didn't want to walk home at this hour. As I waited for the guard, my eyes fell on the picture of a man on the wall. The name Joe was written under it. Even though I hadn't properly seen the face of the guard who had helped me, I could still tell by the structure of the body that this was the same Joe. The guard returned in a while. He was alarmed to see me at the gate. He called a cab for me, and asked how I got out. I pointed to the picture and told him that Joe had helped me. At this, he looked confused. Then, he told me two things that I wished he hadn't. He was the only one on duty, and Joe had passed away last year. One night when Joe was doing his rounds, he tripped down the back stairs and hit his head hard. He would have survived, even if someone had found him the next day. But it was a long weekend, and no one came for him, at least not in time. Just as the story ended, my cab arrived. I thanked the guard and entered the cab. As the building vanished from my view, I thought about what kind of mess I would be in if Joe hadn't showed up. It was hard to believe that a workaholic ghost was completing his rounds at the office. But the more I thought about it, the more sense it made. Maybe he was just making sure that there isn't another Joe. The feeling of being forgotten is definitely not pretty. All of a sudden, I feel like I can connect to this story on a personal level. But I wonder why.